Hello guys and welcome to the video. Now, for full disclosure, I arrived here on the Friday and this is now Tuesday morning and I'm out a sunrise run, the second one this time. Now, I filmed some stuff, just full disclosure right now, because the holiday started off terrible and the airport lost their bag. They've got two young kids, there was loads of stuff in that bag and I was just not in the mood to be doing any filming. But when we were trying to see about this place, the holiday village in Palma, we couldn't really find anything in terms of a really good review. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll put in some personal stuff obviously, but in terms of like actually filming like the holiday village and showing you around a wee bit, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give people a wee bit of an insight of should you come here, shouldn't you come here, should you go somewhere else, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to actually see the sunset. It's a wee bit cloudy. I don't know how much wind is getting picked up on this camera, but we'll see. If we can catch it, we'll catch it. But the beach down here is pretty nice. At this time it is surprisingly quite busy with other joggers. So yeah, listen, I'll start my vlog today and try and capture stuff over the next couple of days. We've got the aquarium and tomorrow morning, so we can film that a wee bit. And I don't know if we're going to go to the wee dinosaur thing. So obviously if you're going to the holiday village, you're more than likely going to be coming here with the kids. So this is what this is going to be based around. I'm just going to say for this review right now, if you were just going to come here for like say an adults only, or you're just wanting a wee break or whatever, I wouldn't. Not unless you want screaming kids and that constantly, and I really do mean screaming kids, because that's all it is here. But I've got a 2-year-old and I've got a 4-month baby, and that's why we chose this place. So I'll get into a bit more nitty gritty of it. If I can get this sunrise, I will get the sunrise, and I'm going to go and finish my run. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to film. This is outside the hotel. I'm just going to actually run you through, because this is what everybody probably wants to know. And what does a hotel look like? This is what it looks like. And I'm just going to do a wee quick tour. I say a quick tour, but it's probably going to take about 6-8 minutes or so. So let's go. So you walk into reception, and reception's quite big. There's not much to it apart from a seated area. You've got the lobby part down there. It's a lobby bar. And then if you look towards the left hand side, you've got the actual reception, and you've got the 2 reps sitting there as well. So we'll head out to the lobby bar. So in here, it's quite a cool area. It's very, very cool. That's one thing I noticed about it, and I mean in terms of temperature, it's cool. You've got the wee book swap sitting there, so people just kind of leave books and stuff. You've got treats over there. To be honest with you, these didn't really change. It was always these same kind of treats that you saw. And then you had the coffee bit there as well. You can probably refill your rooms, coffees and teas and stuff like that from this area too. And over there, again, just your cups, your cutlery, all those kind of things. And then just more books. But that's the wee lobby bar. Again, never really saw many people in there. So if you go out the reception and go to the left, so we went to the right to go to the lobby bar, so you go to the left and there's this area here. Now that's the gymnasium they're going to go into. You've got this big area here that's got like a pool table, and it's got the table tennis. Didn't really see it getting used much, to be honest with you, so for any adults that might want a wee break, it's probably a welcomed break. And then we'll head into the gym. Now the gym was nothing really special. As you saw, a treadmill, a couple of bikes. They've actually got a bench press there, they've got a sit-up bit, they've got a couple of benches, they've got a numerous amount of dumbbells, they've got a dual pulley. To be honest with you, most people don't really go and train on holiday. I didn't actually use it, as I said, I went runs, but it was decent. And then we head straight out the back. Now, if you had to walk straight through reception, this is like the back door, and this leads you into the kind of main area. So again, you can go down that way, and then towards the right hand side, down there, that's where your main buffet area is, and I'll show you that a wee bit later.
Normally the water here right beside me, normally that's got like a wee bit of a fountain going on at night and it's a lot prettier, but this is during the day and it was quite actually a cloudy day, but it wasn't too bad. But if you head up here, you have got a really good view of like kind of the main seated area, and right underneath me is the stage, but we'll see that when we head down. And you've got the main bar down there where you can see everybody's kind of sitting around. Again, I'll show you that wee area as well. And as you can see the main pool, and we stayed over there. We stayed over at the block 3. Right beside that part where I just was, you've got this other wee seated area, so if you manage to get rid of the kids, you can come up here and chill out. But I didn't really see many people ever really use it. You've got these refreshment bits sitting around. I think there's about 4 of them, and you can just help yourself to drinks. And like I said, the stage area here, it looks much more glamorous at night, but it's quite a big area, and it was pretty good right next to the bar. So this is the main pool. And when you're going down the main pool, this bit here, you can see it kind of a rope going across it. The main circle part of that pool there gets used for a lot of different activities, like say kayaking, paddleboarding, and they do keep it quite fun. And then the rest of the pool is just for anybody else, but there's more than one pool, as you'll see. But like I said, this is the main pool area. It was never totally overstowed. This is the second pool. It's kind of behind that main one. Again, as you can see, that's a lot more quieter. Might be to do with the time that I went down, but I didn't ever see this one really as busy. I know there's some adult only times and stuff like that, but as I said, this one was never really packed, and the hotel was busy when we were there, so don't really have a reason for it. If you walk down kind of behind that, you've got this like kind of kids club area, and there's a creche behind that as well. We didn't actually put the kids in. I'll probably talk about that a wee bit later. We just felt like it was too young, and we were on a family holiday, and I want the family to be together. Now this pool was actually awesome, as you can see. Like, kids usually loved it. Now it was too cold in my opinion. A lot of kids were in it, no problem, but it's actually empty at this point as well. But Joseph really didn't want to go. Now Joseph had just turned 2.5 by this point, and he really didn't like this pool. It was just a bit too cold for him, so we were in it once and we actually never went back. But it was always busy, to be fair. And then when you walk around behind that, there's this wee swing part again that Joseph never used. It's very basic. He never really bothered with it. But this bit here, the splash park, you'll probably see a lot of this later on in this video. This was Joseph's, probably his favourite area. And kids go mental here, by the way. And I mean mental. It just is what it is. It's a splash park. The water just constantly spewing out. And it was a wee bit annoying because it never came on to like a back of 10. And a couple of times Joseph wanted in it sooner. Then you've got this area right beside it, if you'd have saw it in the background. It's almost like a Go Ape for the people who know that is, but it's like a tree climb type thing. Actually an amazing exercise, but again we couldn't do it because again kids were too young, so we couldn't really go in and try and do this kind of stuff. But again, if you have kids that are a wee bit older, they'll absolutely love this. This was actually quality to having a resort. And then when you walk up, just up the wee hill for that, this bit here, that was a kebab place that does really good wee ice creams as well. It's right next to this other pool. Again, it was never overly busy, this area, is another thing that I noticed. But their kebabs are supposed to have been good, but I never tried them. Right beside that is this wee football bit, and they did have activities in there as well. They did have like football, and I saw some people doing basketball. People just getting in and using it with their kids as well. So there's another wee area like that if you just wanted to go and utilise it if it was free. And in the wee kids pool, I'll go more on this later, but Joseph's other favourite area. And then this was next to the stage, the main bar. Staff were friendly. There was maybe one or two members of staff that you always get them everywhere you go who just seemed a bit dour, but it was actually fine. And we were at the 4th floor in block 1, I think we were block 1, I'm sure. As you can see, we're quite high up. It's nothing really fancy. A lot of trees there, there's a lot of chirping with the birds when you're up here. And this was our room over here, so 14-16 is where we were. Now I'll give you a wee quick tour of that because again it's stuff that you want to know. Now you go in here and as I said, it's quite spacious and quite nice. You've got a wee table sitting there. They actually put one of those the seat in the bottom corner. They put one of that in the room for us, but we actually asked for a microwave prior to arrival. And they gave us it because we prefer to do the bottles in that as opposed to using that device. I mean, the bedroom, again apologies for the bed, I actually videoed this the day we left, and the kids' travel cot wasn't ours. They put it in the room without us asking, which is awfully nice of them, of course, so I think they kind of know and look to see who the family is. Now, again, there's spare quilts in here, there's the safe as you can see, but there's plenty of wardrobe room in these apartments to kind of store your stuff. The shower was brilliant, by the way. It was a really strong, good shower, excellent temperature wise, very easy to adjust. Everything in here was absolutely fine. Hairdryer, because my nice shiny bald head really needed that very often. But it was actually a good room. It also has a pull out bed, by the way, but we never used it. Out to the balcony again, for where we were, it wasn't the greatest view. We didn't really spend much time here at all. Decent in terms of space wise, but as you can see here, it was fine. There's nothing really to write home about where it just was, but it was a good room. I actually can't fault the room. Maybe some noisy neighbours, but apart from that, nothing to complain about. Now on to food. Now this is the main buffet area that you'll likely be eating breakfast, lunch, dinner and stuff from in here. And again, if you've ever been all inclusive, it is very, very basic, is what you would expect. Again, we found the food actually fine on reviews before going to this place. It was the one concern that I had with reading some dodgy reviews about food poisoning or whatever. Now listen, the food was absolutely fine. I didn't really film any of the actual dinners here. But if you're going to go a la carte, just book before as soon as you land. We didn't get to do any of the a la carte restaurants, and we didn't hear great reviews on them anyway. But the food here was actually really good. They have a different theme every night, from like say Spanish, Asian, Indian, English, like just all different things, and we actually found it really, really good. I didn't have a problem with the dinners. The breakfasts and lunch and all that are all pretty samey. There's nothing to really write home about. Again, if you've been all inclusive, you kind of know what to expect here. But like I said, if you've read any reviews, one of the things that kind of cropped up with me when I was reading them was food, and I just want to say, breakfast, lunches and that, they kind of are what they are. But the dinners, they were absolutely fine, to the point where I'd actually say I looked forward to them in the evenings. Now on to the only excursion that we did, and it was the aquarium, the Palma aquarium. And I've actually been here before from my vlog in 2019 of Palma Nova, which was still amazing, by the way. But we came here and I didn't like it before, and I didn't like it now. Now Joseph, when he first comes in, as you can see here, he's running about wild. It was the most amazing thing. He loves fishes, hence why we came to this. He absolutely loves fishes. He'll watch them on the TV. He'll always be dead intrigued no matter what. He just wants to see what's going on. So he was very happy, but that didn't last long. Now the transfer to this place from the holiday village is about an hour and 30 minutes. It was a long time to be sitting on a bus with two young kids. It really, really was, to the point where they're very grouchy, very tired. So please bear that in mind, that if you're going to book this place, that you're talking about quite the travel. And it's not the most comfortable ride, and you're having to pick up everybody else and all that kind of stuff. But back to the aquarium, I mean, it's okay, in terms of, like, Joseph loved it initially, but when it was within an hour, and you're there for a number of hours, mind. Within an hour, he was ready to go home. He was actually tired. He was quite crabby. Never got any of the footage, but he loved the shark boat. Now my wife went on that and I stayed with her baby, but he absolutely loved the shark boat, where you're on the boat with the sharks and you can see them underneath. But apart from that, by the time I got here, this is the outside bit where the fishes are, he did become quite bored. Like, he just started doing that. He just started walking away, and he was like, right, I've kind of seen it all. And I was lasting no more than, like, even at this bit here, I was lasting no more about 30 seconds at a point. Now this is the whole point which I'll come on in the next segment, where I just think he's maybe still a bit too young. Nothing can hold his attention for any lengthy period of time, and it became quite difficult. So luckily enough, this place does have a wee park here, so this did keep him busy for about 20 minutes. So there's a wee bouncy castle around there. Again, I didn't get any footage of him because I had to take my shoes off and get on it with him. But at this part here, he did love it. When he saw the shark, he couldn't contain himself. He was like, oh my goodness, this is the greatest thing ever. So if your kids love the park, like, again, there's a big ship here, as you'll see in a second, they'll get enjoyment out of it. But again, I just felt like there's just not much to the aquarium. We done the backstage pass thing as well, by the way, and it's a complete waste of money. If your kids are toddlers like Joseph, you have to carry them. They're not allowed to walk around. You're not allowed your prams either. So we both had to carry our kids, and we had to keep swapping. Now, I'm a strong physical guy, and my back was breaking because it lasted about 30-40 minutes. And that's just one of the things I was like, I wish they'd have told us that before we went, and we probably wouldn't have booked it. Well, booked that particular package. But like I said, it was good for about an hour or so, but you're there for quite a number of hours and it wasn't great. Now, part of that package was the food, and I'll say this about the restaurant, by the way. This burger was immense, and Joseph loved his food and Ruth loved her food. So food was good, but everything else not so good. Now, I'm going to try and summarise this place without being negative or biased, because bear in mind at the start of this video I did say that the airport did lose our bag, and it made it very stressful for the first few days, to the point where we weren't really thinking straight. It was really stressed. It was kids' food, it was all the clothing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put that to the side, and this bit I'm filming here with the small pool, this is like a couple of Joseph's favourite places, a small pool and the splash park as well. So would I recommend this place? My answer is yes. If you have got small kids, you're not going to get much better places than this, but between the ages of 4 and 10, I would generally say, this is going to be the ideal place. Joseph was just a bit too young to get the full use out of this place in terms of like all the kind of things that it offers, and because we went as a family, I didn't want to put him in kids clubs, didn't want to put him in creches and all that kind of stuff, which you do have to pay extra for anyway, but I didn't want that to be something that I did, like, oh, I'm just going to put him in here so we can go and enjoy ourselves. But maybe you're different, maybe you'll want to do that, but just for me, I simply wouldn't. I just wouldn't feel right by doing that. He's on holiday with us, therefore I just want to enjoy every bit of time with him as I possibly could. Worth mentioning the food again, the a la carte, so there's like 3 different restaurants you could book in for, and the times that we were given were like 7 PM, purely because we booked in like say a day late. So everybody basically arrives and gets told to book in, and we didn't do it because we were too busy worrying about our bags, so we didn't experience it. But talking to different couples, they says the food was nothing to write home about anyway, and that it was very similar to the themed stuff that was done in the main buffet. So I mean, it's probably good, purely based on that, but we didn't get to experience it, so can't really fully comment on it if I'm being really honest. So the holiday really was a tale of two halves, like I said. The losing the bag, being very negative minded. Joseph wasn't really settling to start with. Now, as you can see, he was a wee pale ginger, so that probably had something to do with it, but it wasn't quite acclimatising to the heat. But after a few days and getting in the pool and stuff like that, he absolutely loved the place. He really did, and I wish we did actually stay for 10 days because of that, and we only stayed for a week. I will mention the reps. Now, there was 4 different reps that we dealt with, and I'm not wanting to name them. I've named them in a different complaint in a different form, but there was only one that really offered solutions to the problems, where the other ones were very, how could I say, they probably lacked a bit of empathy, as if losing a bag is just one of those things. In fact, someone actually did say that to us, because people lose their bags all the time, and this was our first family holiday, it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't mean that we're fine with it, especially because we had a newborn and was trying to source the exact same milk and all that kind of stuff. It was very stressful, but I'm not going to keep going on about that. The place as a whole, I would recommend. The only problem is, like I said before, is a bit of travel from the airport. It took us just over an hour and a half to get there from the airport, and that was a bus, but that's because we were dropping people off. But on the bus back from the place to the airport, it only took an hour because we didn't pick anybody up. I don't know why that was, but it was only an hour and we're straight there. So as an hour, if you were getting in a direct transfer, say taxi or whatever, you're talking about around an hour, or maybe just short of an hour. A special mention really does have to go to, by the way, is the PTY. It's like the nighttime entertainment. Now, Joseph absolutely loved this. I mean, he loved it. Whatever these people get paid, they do not get paid enough. Like, they made that place, and I mean, all the way through the day you'll see them through the hotel, round the pools and stuff like that. They were always interacting with us, saying how you doing, coming up and chatting to us. They came up and got a picture with us when we had the baby, and they couldn't have been nicer. I really mean it. Whatever these guys are getting paid, if someone for the hotel watches this, see the guys that do all the kids club stuff, or I mean the PTY crew that does all the nighttime entertainment, the Tots Disco and all that kind of thing, you need to pay those guys more. Give them a bonus based on this video. They were always smiling, always happy. The enthusiasm was absolutely reeking out of them all the time. These guys just really made the holiday for the kids, and the kids loved them. Not just my kids. Like, Joseph was just neither here nor there. As I said, he's too young. but every other kid adored these people, and it was very evident, and that's what made me kind of think, like, whatever these folk are getting paid, just up it, just up it. So again, not to just keep rambling on, the only other thing I want to mention is we never done the other excursion with the dinosaur one, which I was very keen on doing because it was very close to the hotel, but upon advice of other people, Joseph was probably just a bit too young again, and you weren't allowed to take buggies and stuff because they do a cave tour as well, so we didn't go. And it's funny because the rep didn't really warn us about that, it was other people that warned us about that. Well, you'd be able to go to the dinosaur park, it's much smaller than what they kind of lead on, but we didn't go, obviously, so there's not much to really say about it. You could go and you could absolutely love it, so I don't want to speak for something that I didn't do. But again, going into this holiday, every single review I was reading was mostly positive, and the only negative thing I read was the food, and there was nothing wrong with the food, and I mean nothing, and I'm not just saying that, there was nothing wrong with the food, to the point, like I said before, I really enjoyed it. The room was fine, the staff were mostly great, the reps could probably use a wee bit more training in that sense, and the one rep, and I'll give her a mention, Donna, she dealt with the whole suitcase thing amazingly well. The only one that really showed empathy, and probably the only one that was a parent and understood, if I'm being honest. So, could you recommend this place for anyone watching this? Yes, especially if you've got kids between 4 and 10. That's my own recommendation. I think they would get the full use of everything. I think they would have an absolute ball. I think it'd be the best holiday you could possibly take them on. So again, if you have watched this and it's helped you in any way, just leave a comment, leave a like, share it with someone, or if you want to buy me a coffee or my dog Frank some sausages, there's a link down below, and it just helps me be more enthusiastic about making these type of videos. So yes, Holiday Village in Majorca, ended up really thoroughly enjoying it despite the hard start, and I probably would like to go back when both my kids are a bit older, maybe about 5-6 years time.